Hello，小伙伴们，大家好，欢迎来到这个天国拯救2游戏攻略。这期视频我们继续支线啊。好了，我们来做凯瑟琳的任务。来到库登堡这个酒馆啊，绞索酒馆。凯瑟琳就在这个酒馆的里面工作啊。这会在上面是吧？我们先上去。这个任务是第5戒律啊，同时呢，这凯瑟琳也会告诉你当时内巴科夫发生了什么啊，可以看一下。
You're asking me?
Of course. I only remember that.
That must have been really terrible. I'm afraid all I know is I'm sorry.
There was this healer.
A girl of yours?
No, I don't know her well. I suppose now
Poor girl. May God forgive her. You have to live every day. That's all you can do in a...
Do you know if Michael...
I'm afraid I do know.
Did you know him?
Not now.
Thank you.
I'm sorry I can't.
No, that's all right.
啊，也就是除了我们那4个人啊，其他人都全部无了啊，克拉拉也没了。啊，这边我们选择需要帮助嘛，先接那个第5戒律任务。
What's going on?
Something's happened.
What is it?
When I was fishing around for information, and one of the servants...
You think she was killed because...
I don't know.
I'll help you. Who was this dead girl?
Her name was Alice. I heard they found her all hacked up. They took the body to the morgue.
I'll go take a look at her.
I think that would be for the best. You can ask the gravedigger for detail.
When did you last see the...
Around a week.
And did you notice anything suspicious?
Not at all. She was always cheap. Though I'm afraid she won't.
What was Alice trying to...
She always brought me the freshest gossip overheard from her master.
And did you learn anything important from her?
That's the thing. All she brought me was gossip. Who was cheating on her? So you'll have to figure out...
What about your other girls? Are they all right?
Yes, fortunately. That's why Alice's death...
What are you going to do next?
I'd like to ask the others if they noticed anything suspicious.
But you don't want to scare...
I'm scared myself. Maybe nobody knows about them yet. And I can't risk that.
What if I go and see them?
They don't know you, Henry. I'll figure something out. In the meantime...
Do you think there could be something bigger?
I don't know. Maybe she just got... But it's strange.
Why did you ask me?
Because you're the only one... But don't take it the wrong way. Not even ya...
I know everything I know.
Good. Go to that graveyard. In the meantime, I'll try to find out more.
这第5戒律的任务呢，挺有意思的啊。是这个后面再跟大家说吧。我们先一步一步来。首先，我们第一步呢是要检查尸体和掘墓人谈论尸体的事情。好，我们就一步步来，从 A 再到 B 啊，然后来到这个地方啊，任务都有指示，大家直接过去就好。来到这个位置，我们先检查尸体，先跟他对话。
What's the matter? Did you know?
Alice. She was almost like a sister. Why'd you ask?
I'm trying to find out who did this to her.
I understand.
Who did you serve?
Our master is a local merchant.
How did Alice get along with you?
Fine. Just like with everyone. Our master is a bit strict.
What's his name?
Why? But you can't see him anyway.
It occurred to me that...
He couldn't. He was gone. And besides, why would he kill them others?
What others?
You haven't heard. A few girls, like our Alice, died before.
Do you know of any suitors?
I know she was seeing...
I'd like to talk to him.
But I don't know who it was. Alice said he was rich.
And you never saw him?
No, never.
Do you know what exactly...
No. Nobody saw or heard one day. She just didn't come home.
What do you mean?
You haven't seen her yet?
I haven't.
Then don't. She was... It didn't even leave.
What do you mean?
Who could have cut off her hair like...
So...
这边我们来检查一下尸体啊。
So, let's see what we have. My God, someone really... They ripped open her entire bed. Must have been buckets of blood. Jesus Christ, the place they found her must look like a slaughterhouse. Her lips are bloody, but nothing more. Tongue still in place. But if he killed her for blabbing, these are more like chops than cuts. Somebody must have taken a sword to her. Knife wounds would be smaller, and an axe, but it couldn't have been a long sword. That would have been clumsy. It was something shorter and nimbler. God, what did he do with it all? Did he really keep all the pieces? Nobody could be that sick, could they? Her face is a little bruised and cut, but she has a dark ring around her neck. Was she strangled? The murderer must have had and her hair is all matted with blood and hacked off. Maybe there's something more to it. What if the murderer kept just some scratches and bruises, that's all. The killer probably surprised her. She didn't even have time. So, the murderer must have awfully strong hands. Then he took a short sword or saber and started hacking at her. He also cut off most of her hair. He cut off her breasts, but left her tongue, then left her lying there for all to see. To send a message, only if it was a warning for Telden. I don't know why he killed her.
好，刚刚亨利呢分析了非常详细。然后这个女孩呢，先是被勒死，勒死了之后呢，切掉了乳房，然后呢，并且呢，把肚子也切开了啊，肚子里面东西也拿了，非常残忍的手段，并且血也放干了，还留了一些头发作为战利品啊，注意这个是关键信息啊。好，然后非常残忍啊，前面几个女仆也是这样死的，这个案件故事还挺有意思的啊，就是到后面大家就知道了啊。好，然后我们再找掘墓人对话一下。
You must be the local gravedigger.
That's right. They call me frantic. At least them that can speak do. Greetings, Henry.
That dead girl you have in the...
You've seen her? Poor thing.
That's what I'm trying to find out. Do you know anything?
She's gone to meet her maker. What more do you want? You want to take away a piece of her? Well, you can't. Not a hair off.
I don't want to take anything.
Like what exactly?
Who killed her?
Why?
I'm worried something might happen.
That's true. She wasn't the first, and we can only pray that she'll... It's true that Lumiere ain't shown no interest in her yet.
Who's this Lumiere? Another one of those...
No. He actually tried to help.
Help? How?
Well...
Right.
Aye. We had a couple of similar cases. Lumiere said they was all killed by...
And how did he come to that conclusion?
How do I know? Best ask Lumiere.
Do you remember how many...
You mean you don't know nothing about it?
I haven't been in Cut.
I see. There's been one every few weeks for the...
Do you know where the last one...
I heard some talk about it when they brought her here.
Look for clues. Footprint.
That can help.
That's worth a try.
I heard she was killed by the town walls.
Thanks. What's this Lumiere got?
Well, like I told you, he used to work for the...
A scribe keeps records in the Black Chronicle.
Well, the old bailiff, but Lumiere, he was quite...
I'd like to speak with Lumiere.
At his home in Bohemia. I don't know exactly what...
Thanks.
It's my pleasure. Actually, speaking of the living, there's... I think her name is...
I know. I've already...
Aha. Farewell, my friend.
好，接着跟着任务指示呢，我们先前往案发现场，然后再去找卢米尔。
This is the place. I'm not sure how much more of... Christ, that's a lot of blood. After seeing what they did to the... I'm not sure I'll be able to find... I can't make anything out of this. The whole town's been walking. I'm surprised I haven't completely... It's hard to make out, but I think I see some... So, there's still a lot of blood left. I found some faint blade marks. It didn't look to me like any remains were left.
好，我们来找卢米尔，准备一个解酒药剂。
Lumiere?
Oh, Christ, my head.
I need to ask you...
I said not so loud. I have a
That's some hangover, unless I'm willing to wait for him to... This should sober... Here. Drink up. Better?
What? Who?
My name is Henry.
And what do you want from me?
I'm trying to find out who killed a certain...
To me?
Are you Lumiere from the Rat?
I used to be. Now I'm just...
They say that about you.
Because I was just on some And what came of it?
But I need your help.
If I were you, lad, I'd leave it be. You'll just end up hurting yourself.
Come now, Lumiere.
Poor girls. Nobody... We let it be in the end? No way. You can't solve...
I need to know the truth.
I appreciate your enthusiasm, lad. I searched high and low. And what makes you think you can find out?
Because I know people. And can easily, in the end, they spill their guts.
Is that so? What about me?
A moment ago you were moaning in pain. And now you're...
All right. Who was this dead girl?
Her name was Alice. She worked as a maid.
A maid? That fits. Yarka was it?
I think that he strangled her first.
Did you notice the strangulation right away? It took me a while.
Do you think it's the same murder?
Counting your girl, that makes 6 victims. If it's not all the same person...
This is the 6th one. How long has he been...
Probably about a year. Sometimes it takes him months. Sometimes weeks. But I'm including missing girls.
Why are you counting the...
Because I think someone killed...
Did the dead girls have anything in common?
Aside from being pretty young girls with no...
Do you think somebody is killing them because they're poor?
Certainly. If somebody killed the daughter of a local lord...
But why does he even kill in the first...
I don't know. Maybe he hates...
What can you tell me about...
She wasn't the first. But thanks to her, she was a maid in a German family. She was orphaned as a child. The priest from the... They found her body tossed behind a barn at the edge of town.
Did you have any suspects?
At first, I thought the son from that family did it. But then I changed my mind.
Why?
Well, for one, I remembered the 2 girls before. Besides that, when I talked to them, and his mother told me that they threw her out a week before. That really surprised me. Maybe he just didn't want...
What about Stanya?
She was an alehouse when...
You said her body was never found. Maybe she just got out...
You have no idea how much I'd... Unfortunately, the investigation wasn't very successful.
Did you suspect anybody?
You could suspect every second man there. The innkeeper, Mole, definitely knew...
So if I want to learn anything...
Yeah.
And what about that Zdena? You said her body...
Exactly. But to tell the... Besides Alice, Zdena was the most recent victim.
But if her body was never found, how do you know she was...
Because she was the same type as the other girl. Young, beautiful. I never could pin it on her, though.
Maybe she robbed the wrong people. And had...
Maybe. She had a partner. When I asked him about Zdena, he told me he'd rather rip his own tongue.
Do you think he'd be more forthcoming with me?
He might be. Besides, it might still...
And what about the other 2?
It all started with them, though nobody did much. She'd only been in town for a short while. But the other one, Libushka, she said she was really cheerful and outgoing. She knew she was pretty.
You mean she wanted someone...
That's what it sounded like.
Interesting. I'll try to see...
In the graveyard, lad. It's sad to say, but we can't help those. There's nobody else left who could tell.
Why were you looking into it?
I don't know what people told you about me, but for many, Gutenberg is a big city with a lot of people. The bailiff was always running from hell to Hades.
But there are more than just rich...
Exactly. There are common folk, too. So when one of them came to the bailiff's one time, and the bailiff was...
Behind the bailiff's back?
Not really. Andreas supported me.
What happened?
I don't want to talk about it.
Did you have any suspects?
You can always find some suspect. I always drag the most suspicious ones to the...
Couldn't it have just been an...
Fainting? Vomiting?
Can you sum it all up?
We have 6 victims here. And I believe, unfortunately, we only know a little about the... Of the remaining 4, the first to be killed, the next were Stanya and Zdena. They both hung around a tavern they called the... And the last victim is Alice. What they all have in common is that they were young...
Good.
When you learn something, you've aroused a bit of hope in me, lad.
好，我们继续找线索啊。了解了很多情况，然后这边有贾卡的背景， 然后还要去这边酒馆去了解线索。我们一个个来，先来到这个位置啊。
Good day to you.
Father,
I don't have time for...
that's not why I'm here. My name's... Someone killed and gutted a young maidservant.
Another one murdered. Why is it you are?
I fear for my sister.
Yes. Fear for those...
One of the other victims was a girl named Yarka. But what can you tell me about her?
About Yarka. She was an ordinary girl.
Where did you know Yarka from?
I knew her...
And?
I was.
Who do you think killed her?
William. That pig of Satan. Yarka always went there.
Why do you think it was William?
Evidence? He's a skirt chaser. A tool of Satan.
And does anyone else come to mind? No other man?
No.
You raised her? A priest with a child?
Yes. Unfortunately, I'm...
No offense, but...
I was a bit, maybe I was too hard.
How does...
When she was small,
Why do you think you were too hard on her?
Yarko was her only chance of that.
You're well off, though.
I couldn't.
But how come?
The church's
How did she rebel?
She wouldn't listen.
Disgrace?
She was pregnant! Even if she had lived, what then?
Why don't you respect...
That's... I won't tell...
Come now, Father. I'm not just asking out of... Isn't it written in scripture?
A layman quotes the Bible. Lumiere accused me...
What?
Yes.
And... how...
It turned out he was deranged. He's finished!
I've heard enough, Father.
Son, I'll give...
好，然后我们去了解另外2个情况啊。来到墙洞酒馆，先找酒馆老板对话。
What do you need?
Did it stun you?
Stun ya? It depends.
My name's Henry.
Names don't interest me. What kind of guest?
I'm a good guest.
Really? Let's see.
By the fact he's...
Aye. So, what?
What if I simply... I want to know if Stanya works.
She did.
I heard she disappeared with...
It's possible. The door open.
Tell me something else.
First, you'll have another beer.
What?
If you want to ask, I prefer to be... So, what'll...
I don't want to pay you any... I think you could answer my questions directly, and not always... That makes it look like you might have some...
Nonsense. How could you think? Ask me anything?
Did anybody see what actually...
No, it was at night. No, the tavern tends to be empty at that hour.
What was Stanya like?
A bold woman. One has to be here. She was hanging around a bard for a while.
Someone from the city?
No. A charcoal. I think his name was...
What do you know about that?
What about him? He called himself William.
You think he might have...
Now that you mention it, I know he met with some odd people. Besides, you know what minstrels are like.
Or in this case... Apart from those men, I mean, more intimately.
Well, I got bad news.
Why?
One was hit by a car, and the other one got...
How did Stanya's...
The door was wide open.
Blood?
Not so much, really. If someone done her in...
Where can I find this?
I already told you.
Could you be a bit more...
I don't know that bloke at all, so if I was you...
That's all I need to know.
啊，这边门口还有一个信息。
Are you Sternad?
Who the fuck are you?
Just an ordinary bloke.
Well, then piss off. You won't get any... All you're gonna get here.
Why so rash? That kind... Let's make a deal. You tell me everything...
Ah. You're the Lord. What, that whore...
So, if I understand correctly...
For the right price, I'll tell you...
Is this the right price?
You fucking bet it is. Ask away and...
Where can I find Zdena?
Aye. That's what I like to fucking...
Yeah.
I can well imagine. Well, she had some unfinished.
What can you tell me about...
What do you want to hear? I tried...
So you were taking care...
Well, just in front of the others.
So you weren't too fond?
Not really, no. But she did...
Did she have any friends or lovers who'd know more?
Who come to see that bitch? She was always off.
Someone came to see her?
Well, aye. Some stuffed frog. He said he had some job for her. That she should... But he left empty-handed.
Do you know who that priest was?
Some fucking Prokop. But that reminds me. I saw her a couple...
And could she have run away?
With that Lily... Well, he ain't been seen. He still don't come in.
What do you know about this?
Not much. Seems they knew each other. She weren't stupid.
And did he go?
Aye, indeed. I think he just told her if she changed...
And could she have changed her mind?
No. She took off. I'm sure about...
I've heard enough.
现在来到这个黑马酒馆，来问一下这个吟游诗。
It's William, right?
What is it?
My name's Henry. And no, we have a lot of mutual...
What? I don't have to talk.
You don't need to. I can go and chat with the...
What? I don't have anything to...
Really? You?
I just got back to the city. I don't know what you're trying to pin on.
But everyone remembers you. You better spit it out before...
Come on. Oh, ask away.
Did you know Alice?
I know a lot of Alices.
The one they found dead some...
Oh, her.
I heard she used to go...
Yeah, and? I'm not the only...
They say she had a rich young...
Me? Do I look rich to you?
But you could at least pass...
Or I could claim to be the virgin...
And did you ever meet York? It was a long time ago. But I heard she used...
Oh, that one.
Because somebody killed...
I know what happened was a tragedy, but it wasn't my fault.
And did you know she was pregnant?
What? Yarka was... That's horrible. Who would kill a pregnant...
That's what I'd like to find out. What about the
What? Mine? I never even got...
And can you tell me anything else about it?
I don't know anything. It was a long time ago. You said so
And I hear you knew Stanya.
Which one?
The alehouse wench from the hot...
Well, she battered her eyes...
And the innkeeper Mole told me a different story.
Fine. We had a bit of fun together. But she was...
And aren't you just saying that because she left you?
Oh, come on. I could have... The innkeeper must have got it mixed up. If I was you...
And what about Zdena?
Do I know Zdena?
Did she steal something?
A traveling minstrel doesn't have much to...
You don't happen to know who...
There were lots. Like young von Groller. When he started coming here, as far as I know, she didn't succeed. If she... Look, why you ask... You don't seriously think I...
Well, you did know them all.
And? I'm surely not the only...
That may be true. And now...
But I had nothing to...
I don't believe a word...
You're out of your mind!
We'll see about that.
史志哥可以很负责的说他不是凶手啊，不要抓他，这里可以直接抓他，抓他就任务结束了啊。好，然后我们继续了解另外2个点的这个情节啊。那我们来到这个点，找一下烧炭工啊，就找这个巴顿对个话。
I'm looking for someone named Stan.
You're in a charcoal camp, fella.
But you know Stanya.
Aye. You could say that.
I'm looking for the killer of a girl in town.
That's true. She told me something.
So you don't know what...
I really don't know, mate. But even if I did know...
I wouldn't be foolishly asking around for it.
Why not? How else would you find her?
Without getting seen...
What do you mean?
I mean you. If I tried anything...
Well, aye, that didn't occur...
I really only want to talk to her.
Sorry, but... After all that happened to Stan...
So Stanya is here?
Aye. She's hiding with us.
Can I speak to her?
If it'll help you. But be nice to her. Till we meet again.
接着我们去那个房间里面去找他，就在前面。
Who are you? If you came here, I'm not afraid of you.
Don't be afraid. Barton told.
Barton sent you to me.
Lumiere thought you were dead. I was supposed.
Lumiere? From the rat house?
Exactly. Someone killed a girl in Kut, so maybe you could help us find.
How can I help you when I haven't been in Kuttenberg?
You disappeared from the.
Someone attacked me when I was coming home. I managed to get away.
Did you see who it was?
Not at all. I didn't see anything until he was terribly strong.
And how did you manage to?
I had an empty pitcher in my hand, and I hit him with.
Here? To the.
No. First to my room. I was so scared there.
And your lover?
At first he was horrified. He's been hiding me here.
What was it like working in the hole?
Well, I earned a few gross.
How so?
Every single day I had to put up with their people. Well, especially in a place like. But you can't overdo it.
How so?
Because if you smile at them nicely, you have to keep a balance.
You said that rich or poor, they.
Truth be told, the hole isn't exactly.
Is that so?
He smiled at me a lot, so I smiled. Then this thieving wench started. But that servant of his didn't like it.
Von Groller had a.
Aye, a pudgy fella, well dressed. He never said a word or smiled.
You walked home from the bath.
What's so odd about that?
Well, at night.
Ah, right. I always brought the girls a pitcher of wine or.
Ah.
Right. I went there regularly.
The same way every time?
Aye, always the same way.
And who knew that you went by yourself to the bath?
Well, everyone from the.
Why didn't you go back?
Just to get murdered. I'm never going back.
How are you now?
I'm still, and I can't even.
Do you remember anything important about the...
I don't know any...
And what about when you hit it?
He let me go.
Aha.
He said Scheisse.
Couldn't it have been that
Aye, when he drinks, he turns into a... Only when I got to my room.
Couldn't it have been Father
Prokop?
No, he's pretty old.
I don't know him, and...
I heard William liked pretending to be a spy.
Aye, I thought it pretty... Though, I reckon he's more likely...
Seems you're the only one to survive. I know it isn't easy for you to think about. Or when you were running away.
I don't know. It's...
You were walking down the street.
No.
You didn't see anything, or...
Actually, I knew the side street wasn't... But when I looked, there was nobody there.
Did you understand what the...
Not at all. But there were...
It's difficult, I understand. Aside from those voices and the...
I didn't hear him at all.
And nothing else? Did he grab...
Well, no. Just for a moment. But Barton said the man must have had a terrible...
I reckon that'll be all.
I'm sorry I'm not able to help you more.
You don't need to apologise.
Thank you.
If it's in my power.
When you catch that bastard...
I'll stop by if...
Farewell, my friend.
来到这个点找一下派特啊，任务有指示的啊。
Lord be with you.
Are you Pine?
I am.
I'm looking for his Denner.
I don't know any Denner.
Sternad said so.
You're a friend of
God forbid.
You're right there. Denner was always...
So you knew Denner?
I know Denner all right. Why are you looking for her?
I'm looking for her... back in the city.
Kurva.
What can you tell me about...
She always had it hard. She lost her...
And what about Sternad?
Sternad was her guardian angel. She hadn't been thieving with him.
Uh-huh. I'm surprised.
That's because... That's why she'd come to me with her loot. And the last time she was here...
I heard she wanted to sell you some value.
Oh, aye. She had a good haul. No rubbish. She left it all here. I paid her a pretty...
And what about that signet?
She didn't sell me the ring.
Do you know what kind of luck...
No. I didn't recognize that signet.
Where did she go next?
That she did.
Someone followed her on a horse from Kuttenberg.
She didn't. At first, she thought it was some wealthy lord.
And did you see him?
No. But Denner thought she even left her scarf here and paid some girl to...
And then where'd she go?
She wanted to go the back way. Past the woods is a road and a ford across...
Well, if it leads back to the road and there was...
Fuck! I made a point of looking, but I didn't see...
Is Denner's scarf?
Aye. I wanted to give it...
Will you give it to me?
All the same to me. Here you go.
And could it have been...
What do I know? If he has a horse...
I heard he wanted to find her an...
I don't know.
And could it have been William?
And who would that be?
He's this bard she was...
I don't know about that. I don't...
Well, I'll go...
I hope you don't. See you later, my friend.
好，任务先推进到这里啊，我们来找这个线索啊，知道了。我们直接走过来。
That has to be that ford Pike was talking about.
然后按 Alt 键呢，我们是可以看到这个目标指向的啊。然后这边有个篮子，我们检查一下。
This must be that basket of silver Zdena was carrying with her. She wouldn't have just left that here.
啊，这里还有很多血迹，对吧？然后把狗叫过来，让它闻一下这个围巾，然后大家跟着它走就好了啊。其实任务指示点也大概告诉你位置。我们来到任务指示点边上就有一个尸体，直接看就行了，直接调查。
She didn't get very. She's been lying here. At first glance, this body. Unfortunately, I can't tell if somebody struck, but her head is smashed in. Either the murderer. She must have put up a fight. Oh, she's all stuck to her clothes. Her torn rips are odd. Like someone was looking for. Oh, I can't make much out by now. Did the murderer torture her? Oh, how did it get inside her? Was she trying to hide it? Well, that's enough. I'd say she put up a dig. That's about all I can find. But that ring is a good.
我们回去找卢米尔。
I found out some interesting things.
That's wonderful. I promised Catherine we'd wait for.
You know Catherine?
She came to see me soon after you.
Will you send for her? So, we're all here.
I hope nobody else.
I reckon I've found.
And do you know who the murderer is?
Not.
I've asked around a bit.
Is that so? See,
Oh, I didn't do all this.
well,
Well?
I'd say William.
You can't be serious.
Uh-huh.
Prokop, I'm sure.
No. Really?
So I see we just.
Well, who do you think it was?
I'm not entirely sure.
Go on then.
如果还没到那选那一步，我们先把这个一个个聊
Let's
完。
talk about Yarka, the one raised by.
What did you learn about her?
Prokop didn't just raise her out of the.
Really? But he's.
His own relative.
Why not? He's a priest.
Prokop also admitted that he did.
What do you expect from a Bible thumper?
Well, maybe I wouldn't hold it again.
And did you learn who?
No. Yarka started working for the.
I was there to ask whether she'd.
So what?
A very wealthy. The mother is quite devout.
So, who?
That would be young Hen.
Before her death.
There's nothing wrong or surprising.
Maybe.
That doesn't mean it.
Means she had some.
And now, most importantly.
I didn't know that.
To make it impossible to tell she was pregnant.
May God forgive us.
Do you know who she was pregnant with? Because if we know...
She didn't tell Prokop.
It had to be someone from those dance...
Prokop is convinced that she...
I heard the daughters of important men come to see him.
Really?
What?
It doesn't matter.
And were you as sure then as...
I don't think so. But he's a skirt chaser.
Perhaps.
But then he could never come...
Why not? He could come back a year later.
That's all I was able to...
You still found out more than I...
But it's not enough. We still...
But we can agree that she was killed because of her pregnancy.
Agreed. Somebody...
I'm sure William...
William isn't the only man with a prick. And...
Such language.
That William isn't the only man in the city.
I'm not saying it couldn't have been him.
I suppose you're right.
I managed to find...
Alive?
I did.
So, she's not one of us.
She is. She just managed to... She said she was attacked on her way. But when she walked by...
And...
She was holding an empty pitcher.
Did she get a look at him?
No, she didn't stop to find out.
And what about the blood in the...
She cut her hand on the broken pitcher. She said she returned from the bar.
You mean someone followed her?
Who knew that she went to the bar?
Apparently, everyone in the tavern. She also said she was sure it wasn't Mole. Well, according to Stanya,
doesn't almost every...
Depending on what they take...
Except none of our suspects. According to Stanya...
That's strange, right?
The only word he uttered was when she smacked...
So, we're looking for...
Even I say shizer sometimes.
Besides that, she also...
So we have a witness.
Or an accomplice. If I remember
I asked Stanya if she knew Prokop.
Maybe she just doesn't remember him.
I don't think Father Prokop is the type to freak...
Stanya admitted that she knows...
And that's probably why I wanted to kill her.
Perhaps, but Stanya doesn't think so. And that's all that Stanya.
I'm so glad that girl is.
Me too.
I don't think she'll come back. I managed to find Zdena.
You found her?
No. Unfortunately.
And where did you find her?
Pretty far away. Near the mill. Someone caught her in the forest when she was... I reckon she put up a hell of a fight.
So he didn't strangle or mutilate?
She'd been lying in the woods for a long time. Judging by what her accomplice said. And what's odd is when she was murdered...
So I reckon he didn't...
She said someone followed her on horseback.
On horseback? I don't suppose...
Only as a wealthy type.
That doesn't fit it.
Father Prokop came looking.
What did he have in...
He had also looked after her. Zdena tried to rob young...
Von Grolle?
That whole...
Assumptions.
No, I'd say it's pretty obvious. Why...
They just left the ring by a...
It wasn't by her body.
That's awful.
My mouth is stuck.
So am I...
Come now, we're nearly there. We just...
好，刚刚我们一系列证据，他们三个也都分析了啊，大家看剧情就知道了。其实肯定不是这两个人啊，但是你要是选这两个人，这个任务就结束了啊。是冯格罗尔家中的人。
I suspect one of the Von Grolles.
What leads you to...
Are you sure it wasn't William?
Yarka was their maidservant until she started...
Yes. Do you think she was...
Perhaps the young lord?
That's possible.
Alice had a young and wealthy suitor.
True.
We could be get...
Yarka was pregnant. And if the father...
Sakura.
But William could have fucked her too.
Zdena was followed by someone on a horse.
That's not so sure, is it?
But it certainly worsens the case.
Zdena robbed Von Grolle.
That's true.
It's all coming together.
And that's all I can pin on him.
So, do we agree that...
Well, old Von Grolle can't do much now.
So do we really agree that our most likely...
Aye.
I don't have a problem with it.
They'll just laugh at us without...
So, you want...
There's nothing else we can do.
We have to find some evidence.
You could sneak in there.
Or break in.
Catherine, that's not necessary.
So I can either pretend to be a sawbone...
You're a clever lad.
好，现在任务导向是潜入他的房间，搜查这个小冯格罗尔的房间。我们可以去装作自己是剑术大师，或者是那个医者，然后去治疗他们，或者是教剑术啊。我们先来到他家门口，过来之后保存一下啊。这里如果你是帮助他。比如说你是去医疗它主人的，那你就要带一些医疗相关的东西，比如说绷带啊，还有什么药剂啊什么的啊。但是我不建议用这个啊，直接用这个会简单一点啊，训练亨德尔。
I'm Henry of Scally. Master Menhard from Frank.
I'm sorry, but...
Are you telling me I'm not expecting?
No, this is surely my mistake. Take care.
好，这就是他家少主啊。我们先把这个训练他的这个完成，然后注意这个楼梯记一下啊，待会儿我们要过来。待会儿要穿上你显眼度比较低的衣服啊。好，我们和他对话。
I must admit that I didn't expect anyone.
Well, that's true, but we had an opening, and Master Menhard.
But of course, it doesn't matter.
What do you mean?
She's always trying to keep me at home.
Well, maybe a sword fight.
Maybe. But first I want... Ready?
I'm not.
Really? Well, I can land you one. Shady some Teufel!
Well, I hope the young lord is assured he has...
Yeah.
And after a few lessons...
I hope so.
Excellent. What type of weapon?
A sword, of course.
And what about a cleaver?
And a hunting sword? My father used to have a beautiful...
And what about an axe?
No!
Have you ever killed any?
What kind of question?
I meant in battle.
How else could you have made...
Enough small talk.
Yes.
好，这就训练完成了啊。然后穿上那个显眼度比较低的衣服啊。然后不用管它了啊，我们赶紧回头，注意保存。上来之后， 我们这边有一个房子，就这一间，这是非法入侵了啊，可能被发现了。啊，他走了啊。困难锁非常简单啊，就是这个箱子啊，床边上这个箱子，然后就是这个凶手的战利品。还记得之前说过要头发作为战利品吗？亨利在分析的时候，对吧？好，接着我们就直接出去，直接一波冲出去啊！好了，这会就安全了，我们回去交任务。好，保存一下啊，现在保存一下。
I need to discuss that visit.
Excellent. Let's find...
I think we were right.
Well, don't keep us in suspense. What?
You found something there, didn't you?
I certainly did. In the young lord...
What was it?
This. He had it in a chest in his room. Locks of hair. All brown, but all a bit different.
Hair? But that's not enough. That definitely...
Why wouldn't it? He took them as...
But nobody will believe us. We need more...
To be honest, I don't think we're going to find any...
Damn it. We're fucked.
And what about 3?
Where are you going to find 3?
I don't yet, but... Look,
and how do you want to do that?
We'll set someone up.
You want to sacrifice some...
No, nobody's going to get hurt.
The only one I can think of is Stanya. And I highly doubt...
She won't have to.
But you haven't had anything to do with him.
We'll wait until the lad's out of the house. Maybe when Hendel comes home and hears what happened.
I'll cause such a scene, they'll be... Then we'll tell them where...
If you say so. But where can we...
We can use one of the rooms here and you'll be hiding across... I repeat, at the right moment.
Don't worry. We won't take our eyes off you.
Where's Hendel? I need to talk to him! Do you hear me? I have to talk to him about our wedding. I won't be left alone with his child.
What are you screeching about, you ninny? There's no Hendel here. Certainly not for the likes of you.
Do you hear that, folks? He fucks me from all sides. Gets me with child, and now he doesn't want to know me. Get rid of her. Disgrace. Oh, so a poor woman has to suffer because of a man's lust. As if it wasn't already bad enough before.
What lies are you spouting, you strumpet? Goodman Hendel never laid eyes on you. Besides, you're too old for him. Nobody will believe your lies.
Old am I? He came to me himself because he wanted a mature woman to breed with. And he never even pulled it out. And he filled me up like a wineskin. Suit yourself. I'll give you some time to think it over. But either you come up with an offer of marriage by evening, or first thing in the morning I'll go to the bailiff. And I'll be damn sure to get justice from him. It's open.
I've come to talk with you.
Where's Hendel? Hendel? You wanton whore! Debauching my son! A nanny goat like you! The others were at least young, but you! Christ, the trials I have to endure! A husband with both feet in the grave and a son who'll fuck anything with a hole in it. Slice her up, so no one will recognize her, and in case what she says is true, gut her too.
Gutting, is it? I can help you with that.
Hit that bitch, you fool!
好，水子哥这边要说一下啊，前面让大家保存了啊。首先啊，这个任务啊，我们先开着这个任务来说。这个任务我们已经找到这两个凶手了，这两个凶手就是贵族家庭的一个他妈和他仆人是吧？冯格劳尔女士还有他仆人。然后注意一下，我们这边结局前面我们已经有2个结局了。就是前面如果你选神父或者是威廉是各一个结局，这个任务呢还有几个结局，就是这边这个格罗尔女士和仆人有全死全活，或者是他们其中一个死啊，也就是这有4个结局。那么水子哥是这样子想的啊，这个年代的贵族他是不能被处死的啊，是没有死刑的，最多就是软禁啊，或者是什么，或者是他有一点钱就赎回来了，哪怕杀的人都是无视这些法律的啊。所以呢，水之哥这边要怎么做呢？我会选择打晕他的仆人，然后杀死他的女士。为什么这么做呢？你不能说把2个犯罪凶手全部杀了吧，不然人家待会在审判庭上审判的时候，那个法庭上审判的时候咋办啊？是吧？所以我留一个仆人，然后把这个冯格洛尔女士杀了啊，因为她是贵族，仆人不是，仆人可以被死刑的，可以被五马分尸的，甚至跟别的，知道吧？所以呢，我觉得这种的结局是最好的。仆人还能交代一些事情啊，还能把这些案件的所有的事情全部交代出来。你要把全杀了，然后那个卢米尔也不好说，不好交代。那留一个仆人呢？那仆人最后全部交代出来，是吧？贵族他也好不到哪去，已经死了，被我们杀了。否则你最后会怎么样？如果他们2个都活，或者是这个冯格罗女士活了，他会怎么样？他就是被软禁了，他没死，他如果有点钱，依旧逍遥法外啊。所以呢，我建议是这么做啊。但是他的仆人有点脆啊，亨利可能一剑就把他砍死了。所以呢，水之哥这边可能要选择用，为什么让他保存？我可能用选择拳击跟他打了啊，我空手跟他打了，没有办法啊。我之前试过几次，都是一剑给他打死了。你们可以看看能不能一剑打死啊。我这边是没办法啊。然后这边要稍微等一会儿，要等他们上来啊，他们要上来还要好久，不知道这个为什么啊，要等好久。然后我还不能开这个门啊，我这个门还不能开。好，他要来了啊！终于要来了，我等了好久。哎，我穿的板甲没事啊。好，他老实了啊。
Before I finish you off, I have to ask.
I'll tell you.
I'm listening.
Because
what's right about murder?
All those whores.
You know that's not true.
Rubbish. I saw it with... He might have met the alehouse wench...
Well, she might have been convinced, but that doesn't mean she was...
That's even worse. And she would even...
Confess, then.
Not enough. There's always more who just like that companion of yours.
Oh, you completely...
Don't take the Lord...
Then I suppose we'll be meeting... It was all Mandalina's...
And can you blame her? That bastard of hers wasn't. Now he knows very well, luck.
Mandalina just came to you.
Well, one time she came to my chamber and that she'd started an affair with Master Hendel.
Go on. I'm listening.
That she deserved to die.
这边选不杀他啊。
Don't worry.
I'm not worried. Oh, they were all nobodies anyways.
Now shut your mouth already. Catherine, wait.
What should I wait for?
How dare you? Hands off, you...
Shut up.
Let her speak. I still don't understand what actually... I have some questions for you.
I'll tell you nothing, you serpent. Nothing.
If you won't speak now, then the execution... But why wait, right? I'll cut your...
No! Let me go!
Why did you do it?
Don't blaspheme, you heathen.
Come on, answer him or it...
My husband. He drank a lot, ran around with whores...
And why kill those girls?
I tried, but he wouldn't listen to me.
So your own son didn't listen to you?
Who seduced him and emboldened him with their brazenness?
And what about Hendel?
That I was taking care of his immortal soul.
He's going to jump for joy. His mother and...
Speak politely to me.
Henry, if you have any more questions, you...
And what about the hair in Hendel?
Well, he kept asking about those whores of his, so we always brought him along.
You didn't find that strange?
Out of sight, out of mind.
There was no blood where Alice...
That was up to Thaddeus. I only told him to cut them up thoroughly.
Why?
Why? As a warning.
Do you realise you also killed...
That's not possible.
And what about that alehouse?
That strumpet.
But she really had nothing to do.
She wouldn't have smiled at him the way she did, and better sooner than later.
And what about Zdena?
She fawned over him like all the others. She deserved it. She was a thief.
I better stop asking questions.
Burn in hell, all of you.
What'll we do with her now?
Let's take her to the bailiff.
We don't have to go anywhere.
But we can't do that.
Did you hear her? I mean, she hasn't got her head on straight.
Don't you dare judge.
Shut your mouth, you sow. You judge.
Our Lord directed me.
Do you hear that?
But that's not justice. Henry, won't you say...
I told you.
好，水这个选择他必须死啊。
Lumiere, listen to her. If we don't deal with her ourselves...
But, I mean... How could I live with...
I'll show you justice.
Your conscience will remain clear.
But still, if we don't punish her...
Huh. We aren't the ones walking around the city killing random women.
All those whores! Hell!
It's just...
It isn't right, but it's necessary.
All right. All right. Do it then.
No! Don't you dare!
Well, now someone has to explain...
Not me.
I'll go. I'll explain everything. And you, Henry.
Fine. I'll wait.
Good. Good.
Well, this was a lot stranger. Do you think we did the right thing?
I'm not sure of anything anymore. Can we just be quiet?
As you wish. But still, it was damned odd.
Aye, that it was.
Tell us, Lumiere. How did it turn out?
Did it end well? Oh, we're not going to get into...
It ended well. And I didn't even tell anyone...
And what did they say to you? About the murderer and the body?
What do you think? They were shocked.
That's good, the dirty swine.
Then he tried to blame everything on Mandalina.
So? They're gonna break him on the...
He'd certainly deserve it. But I think they're more likely to hang him quietly. To keep people...
Yes, it's true.
But he'll be dead, and we'll find...
And what will you do now? Will you...
It's true, I've made amends in the eyes of the...
Won't you go back to drink?
No, it didn't help anything, did it?
Don't fret.
Yes. You helped me when I was in need.
Helping others is the best thing.
And what will you do, Catherine?
My work isn't done yet. I have to work in the tavern here.
Do you think we could have done better?
Everything can always be...
Catherine is right. I'll still be kicking myself.
That's not entirely...
I'm talking about innocent people.
Well, let's go.
Thank you, lad. You prevented...
I thank you both.
Here you are. As a keepsake.
Yes. Here is a reward.
好，这个任务就算完成了啊。 那他们这一家人呢，都不是好东西啊。等我主线全部弄完了，全部打完之后呢，会把他们家人全部屠杀完啊，全部屠杀。那个老登也不是什么好东西，他儿子更不是什么好东西。好，小伙伴们，本期视频就到这里。